This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. The market, we've seen them before, but this one is very different than the other times. The other times we're prepping people for what is about to happen. Now, why do we know what's happening this time? Because we know Agenda 2030 is here, and it is right around the corner. And everything that has to do with 2030 has to do with everybody going broke and reset. And I'll get into that in a second. I just want to let everybody know I have a video on the Buffalo event on my website at Uprising.com, the actual footage of what occurred, when it was streamed, with play-by-play, breaking it down and showing you what my opinion is and my take on it is, as well as how these types of things can be done in terms of how can they film these operations, when can they do it, and how during the quarantine, a lot of these things were filmed in a certain period of time. Of course, then they could just throw these people in the actual spot with blanks and then arrest them and do the whole show. So that's on the website at Uprising.com. I would see where you're over there. Now, we all know that the stock market is always this day and all that kind of stuff, and it's just glorified gambling is what it is. And they've gotten people so accustomed to putting their money in, and that's what they've wanted to do over the years. So it fluctuates all the time, and then it ends up going back up, so I'll just keep it in. And now that they've got everybody at that point, now is the perfect time with Agenda 2030, because we know they want universal basic income, and they want to reset everybody's bank accounts. And there's many ways they're going to do it. And the stock market crash is one of those ways, as well as inflation. Take a look. Stocks took an absolute beating. The Dow suffering its worst day since 2020. The market closed 4% lower as Target's profits plunged. This is kind of a harbinger about where the economy may be going when Target gets hit that hard. Retailers, their stock shedded more than a quarter of its value, talking about Target today. It was one of the biggest one-day declines since Black Friday. Target CEO says inflation is largely to blame.
From Stock Market,
Stephanie Bennett joins us with more on how it's impacting everyday people and it's affecting everybody.
Yeah, that's exactly right, John and Christina. It's now impacting some people's retirement plans even, and it's also taking a toll on local Valley nonprofits. Today we caught up with some people who are seeing it firsthand. Inflation, high gas prices, and a drop in the stock market. Yes, continue.
It's a bad dip in the market, and I'm in for the long haul. So if you're in it for 5 to 10 years, it's a dip. It's put out 1,000 points today and go up 500 tomorrow. It's just how the market works.
I think they should just hold on to what they've got and ride it through. And the pain at the pump just got worse. The average cost of a gallon of regular gas is now over $4 in all 50 states, a new record high.
It has hit us so hard. Whatever it's costing us, as far as that increase goes, we have to, bite the bully the gas prices like everybody else.
Nonprofits Circle the City has a fleet of 20 vehicles, including 2 mobile clinics, to help provide life-saving medical care to the homeless. Crews drive at least 100 miles around the valley every day.
And that's a lot of miles and a lot of gas. So our costs have gone up approximately 30% in terms of gas prices alone.
One of their drivers says as the heat ramps up, so does their medical calls, meaning he's stopping by the gas station to fill up at least twice a week.
Just in the last couple of weeks, I've noticed to fill up my van, it started out at about $80 or so, and within the last 2 weeks or so, it's gone up to over $100.
So, what does this have to do with the Great Reset and everything else? Well, we know capitalism needs to be destroyed. That's part of the Great Reset. They flat out tell you, this is from the World Economic Forum. For those of you that don't know, the World Economic Forum, they're meeting this weekend. All the world leaders go and meet there. The head of the WHO, the head of the CDC, the President of the United States, Putin's been there, Zelensky's been there. All the characters go there because they're all on board with what the agenda is, which is to create a global government, which means that all the governments around the world need to be destroyed. Senate, the parliaments, everything needs to be destroyed, which is what you're seeing with Roe versus Wade as well. This is leading to all of this being destroyed and restarted. but also your bank accounts need to be destroyed, as well as capitalism.
With climate change set to dwarf the damage caused by the pandemic, the message from 2020 should be abundantly clear.
Capitalism, as we know it, is dead. This obsession that we have had with maximizing profits for shareholders alone has led to incredible inequality and a planetary emergency.
But no one can do this alone, and top-down approaches won't get us anywhere, because everything we've learned in our work has shown us that diverse voices lead to better results. And it's for these reasons that the forum talks about something called stakeholder capitalism, which would shift businesses away from just profit. Because
if we want to change where the focus of our recovery will go, then we need a new dashboard for the new economy. And that needs to encompass people, planet, prosperity, and institutions.
Giving people a real stake in the economy and putting well-being before growth. And that's all about getting the right people in the right place at the right time.
We must rebuild our relationship with nature for the survival of the peoples and our planet.
We have a window of time which is closing, and we need everybody who can to get together and find solutions now.
It's the people who have great ideas and who share them with others. They're the ones who are shaping the future. So if you want to be a part of the change, then tune in, turn on, and get involved. Follow the Davos agenda.
So that's what the overall plan is. And inflation, all these things tie into it. And there's many other things that they can do with shutting down the power grid, of course. And then when the grid comes back on, everybody's bank accounts are wiped out because it's all electronic. These are all things that are going to tie into it. And don't think for 1 second that this is all going to happen and people are going to willingly give up their money or their cars or whatever they have for the benefit of humanity as they're told. No, they know they have to reset this. Destroying the market. They have everybody's trust now that the stock market is this thing that goes up and goes down. And there was a Great Recession, and there was the 2007 when the market went down, 2020 during the one-niner. You heard the people in the video. It always recovers. It always goes back up. That is exactly what they want you to think. Because the common person will never take a loss. Okay? The difference between sports betting and gambling in this is that once you bet the game, I mean, they might be different now with like all these gambling sites. And of course, why do you think they've made gambling legal? It took all these years to make gambling legal. And, gambling is just as dangerous as drug addiction. People lose everything they have because it's just so easy to click and bet on anything in any second. It's ridiculous. There's a government that's supposed to care about you and protect you, right? And people just go broke because they want everyone to go broke. That's why it's conveniently available everywhere now through so many different mediums. But anyway, you bet on a game. You say hey, I'm betting the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, Cowboys win, you make your money. Cowboys lose, you lose your money. Right? End of story. With the stock market, see, these people who have money invested do not ever want to take a loss. So they look at it and they go, oh, the market's down, my money's down. But, it can go back up, so I'm going to keep it in. They're not going to sell it at a loss because they assume that it's going to go back up. When it's, even if it goes up temporarily for a week or two, overall, it's going to go down. Like I've been saying for the last year or so, the whole purpose of Biden being put in office with Harris and all these incompetent fools is for them to play the role of the incompetent fools. They couldn't destroy the economy. They couldn't create World War III and do all this stuff without Biden being the guy, the puppet put in place. Could they have started World War III with Trump? Would the narrative have worked? Yeah, it would have worked. But people would expect the United States to win because they'd be like, oh, Trump's going to fight back. He's going to go after him. Whereas Biden is just laying down and laying there and baiting them to come, we need to throw Putin out of office. We need to do this. Where you just see how they're baiting them for their psychological operation to get people convinced that we're going to end up at war, or we could be with an EMP at any time, or the grid could be shut down at any time. Everyone's expecting it. Then you look around, the food shortages, the baby formula shortage, all of this stuff is deliberately being done. They openly are telling you, Biden goes to these meetings where they talk about how we need a great reset, how we need to start fresh, how you'll own nothing and be happy. Your president goes there. Then conveniently, all of this crap, which is supposed to be done by 2030, happens at the same time. You have an outbreak. You have businesses being closed because of the outbreak. You have quarantines. You have economy. You have food shortages. You have shortages of everything. You have people losing their jobs because they're not taking the potion. How convenient. How people don't see it is beyond me. Your president is at these meetings. Trump went to these meetings. So don't think that they're not working with them. Any regular-minded person, if a regular person became the president and they had the best interest at heart of the people, they would never go to one of these things. Even if they're rich and they would just be like, this is disgusting. You people are disgusting. You're an abomination. You should be thrown out. These meetings should not be allowed to occur. They should be banned to occur. These are the real terrorist threats to the world. Not the fake boogeymen they create. These are people who are openly talking about doing this stuff to us. And then in reality, all these people are meeting there. The whole time they're there, this is what they talk about. Getting chips in people, connecting people with technology, universal basic income. So taking everyone's money and making everybody broke and then on the same level of income because it's fair and it's equality. They're openly talking about this stuff. And people still are like, oh man, the economy's down and this is down and that's doing that and there's no food in the shelves because Biden's stupid. Well, how convenient. How convenient. Give me another break. So the stock market is going to continue to go down. Okay? And they can do whatever they want. I mean, you could have money in a stock and the stock, they can say, wow, they reported triple their earnings and the stock can go down. They don't even need to give you an explanation. It's not like when you bet a sports game or something straight up. Of course, I do not condone. Gambling is a horrible, horrible thing. And that stuff's rigged too. But anyway, with that, if you bet on a team, it's a whatever. You get the win or you get the loss. With this stuff, they can tell you what is the basis of a stock going up or down. Oh, their earnings reports. There's been plenty of times where a stock beaten its earning reports and the stock has plummeted. It just shows you it's just all manipulated garbage. And everybody knows it, yet they still do it because they're like, that's the smart thing to do. Those stupid commercials like, would you have your retirement plan? Invest your money in this, invest it in that. Then everybody does this, and now everybody's money is sitting in these retirement plans. And then it's like, oh, and now we're going to hit it to zero. And now all of you who worked your whole lives and saved your money, you're on the same playing field as a 20-year-old kid. And guess what? You're all going to have universal basic income, and you're all going to live in these housing, the housing complexes that we create. That you're going to share a room and in a pod with someone else. I mean, it's so easy to see what is being done. It's just amazing that people don't see it. So you can expect the market to continue to crash. This is part of the plan. Remember, they need a digital currency and one world currency. So the euro, all of this stuff needs to get reset. Inflation and these other things obviously will cause it as well, and many other world events that they create. I mean, if you think about what's going on. Can anyone remember a time here where it's coming from so many angles at once and people still aren't suspicious? Like every day there's just something going on. Never used to be like that. There's 30 stories, of course, the news puts out propaganda. But a lot of times it'd be like, this is going on in the Middle East, and that's what you hear about. You never even check in on the news stories. Now it's like constant attack on America, on your wallet, on your rights as your free speech and right to bear arms and oh, you're a white supremacist. I mean, it's unbelievable. And people don't see that they're deliberately doing it. They think this is naturally occurring organically. I mean, they have no idea what psychological operations are. Then we talk about this stuff and they still don't want to believe it because they've been babied and they've created this prideful society of people who just pridefully will not think that the government is doing this to them because they think that they're too smart and they're like, oh, what do you think? You figured something out of it. I didn't. It's not even about that. It's about all of us getting on the same page and realizing what they're doing to us on purpose. Not about skin color. They don't care if you're white or black. They don't care if you're gay. They don't care about any of it. They look at all of us as cattle. And they're trying to get us to exterminate one another and cancel one another out for their New World Order agenda. So continue to watch the market as it crashes. Again, a reminder, check out the website if you want to see the footage from Buffalo and my commentary on it, as well as a lot of other great stuff that's being shared over there. I highly recommend everybody check out the website. And thank you for being here. Please, at the very least, make sure you sub to all the channels below. I added more channels in there. So if you are still listening at this point, probably a lot of people aren't. But if you are still listening, and you're somebody who listens to my channel all the time, there are newer channels in there now that were channels that were deleted 2 years ago that came back miraculously. So I'm putting those in the comment section too, in the description box. Just click and make sure you're sub at the very least, because I have no idea if I get a strike here where I'm going to upload now that I have multiple channels. I don't even know which one people even listen to anymore. It's just a mess, really, which is what they wanted to create. But I'm trying to navigate around it. So please just check it out. Make sure you're subbed to the channels. Thank you again, everyone, for being here. God bless all of you and your families.
If you've ever had this feeling that something
terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was. You've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time, but not anymore. Because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I want to cover this commercial from Domino's, which features the series Stranger Things. I'm probably going to do a breakdown of Stranger Things. I've done it in the past. I've covered most of the seasons with CERN and a lot of the other stuff in it. It's very long. There's a lot of stuff in it, and there's still more episodes that are coming out. So I'm not sure when I'm going to release it. I'm not even sure if anyone wants to see it. But I wanted to cover this commercial, which features Stranger Things. Obviously, with the rollout of the show, you'll see companies use the TV series to promote their products, and Domino's is one of those. And this is exactly how all this stuff works, because people see Stranger Things and they think it's fiction, but all the stuff that they're showing you in that show is stuff that's actually going on with CERN, and of course we see the magic and the Satanism. This season, of course, they feature Satanic Panic, which is what I would cover if I covered the show, which I probably will. And they show a lot of different things which people need to see, because this is a lot of the technologies that they're planning on implementing in the future. This is the commercial I'm going to show you from Domino's, and you're going to see this and you're going to say, I don't get it. Okay, wow, they're telepathically ordering pizza. This is everything to do with connecting you to the internet. The same stuff like economic forum, the same stuff connected with Neuralink. First, watch this commercial.
I want you to clear your mind. Focus on the object in front of you. Use only your mind. Use your power. Place the order now. Send the next one.
Still alive? Hilarious.
What's up, amigos? What can I do you for?
Picking up more Dusty Buns.
You did not.
I did?
Dusty buns. Oh, here we go. Mushroom and peppers.
Mushroom and peppers, Dustin. You like mushroom and
It's
peppers?
good. Whoa. Domino's apologizes for that. It must be the faulty breaker again.
Yeah. It's off the breaker. It's weird. I got a new ticket for a pizza.
Is that weird, Paul? Look around. We're in a Domino's.
I didn't hear a print. The phone didn't ring. You didn't put it in. Just like weird.
Weird. Oh, have a nice night. Dusty Buns.
Woo!
Celebrity.
What if somebody ordered a pizza with their mind?
No way.
Think about it. An order mysteriously appears moments after the power goes out and the lights start flickering. You know what that means. It means they have a faulty breaker and you have an overactive imagination.
Okay, so a lot of people see that commercial and they're like, oh, wow, it's a fictional TV series. Wow, they ordered a pizza in the 80s with their brain before the internet. Well, if you're not familiar with Elon Musk, you probably have heard of him, right? He's being portrayed as a hero to the conservative movement now, the richest man in the world, the possibility for the Antichrist. We'll see how this plays out. And his Neuralink, which is going to enable people to do things just like you saw in the Stranger Things commercial, which is part of the show. I think do things telepathically. It's going to enable people to do things like that. Order things, do things with their brain, play games with their brain. And people think I don't know how they don't connect the dots between the two, but this is what they're pushing on humanity.
How would you like to become a superhuman, or at least a better version of yourself? As usual, Elon Musk has some ideas on how you can do that. He believes you can achieve this by implanting a chip in your head. This is no joke, as Musk has been testing chip brain implants in animals, and is now testing them on humans using Neuralink technology. What is Neuralink? How will Musk implant the chip in human brains? And what will Musk achieve with Neuralink? Neuralink is a gadget surgically inserted in the brain using robotics by neurosurgeons. In this procedure, a chipset called the link is implanted in the skull. It has a number of insulated wires connected from the electrodes that are used in the process. This device can then be used to operate smartphones and computers without having to touch it. The Neuralink device is implanted directly in the brain because if it is placed on the skull, it will not detect the signals produced in the brain accurately. Accuracy is very important in applications like this. Musk says it charges wirelessly. So what does Neuralink do? The main function is already stated is to bridge the gap between the human brain and technology. This has many applications, including the ones that will benefit a special class of people. For example, people who have suffered paralysis and can't move their body parts can use Neuralink to operate their phones and computers directly with their brains. This will be useful for people who have suffered diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. It can also help people who have suffered severe spinal injuries to walk again. People who can't form speech can take advantage of Neuralink, which will read signals in their brains and send them to a smartphone that will turn them into human speech. That's not all Neuralink can do, though, as it can draw pictures, take photographs, control heavy machinery with the brain directly, play games without physically touching a controller, and so forth. The possibilities with Neuralink are endless, and more applications are expected to come up with time. Musk started the company in 2016 and is the main source of funds. Neuralink has come a long way since then. It has been tested in at least 19 different animals with a high success rate. Interestingly, the procedure to install the Neuralink device, which Musk calls getting the link, is not complicated as some people would think. It doesn't even require general anesthesia. It will be carried out by a robot in about an hour. The only evidence of the surgery is a tiny scar after the electrodes have been inserted in the brain, and there won't be any blood. The link is about the size of a large coin that you can easily conceal under your hair or a cap. Musk has demoed Neuralink using 3 pigs. He called the demo the 3 Little Pigs, showing that his team has successfully implanted Neuralink in their brains. The pigs were named Joyce, Gertrude, and Dorothy. Joyce had no implant and was only brought along for the audience to see how a normal pig behaved. Gertrude had an implant for 2 months, while Dorothy used to have one but had it removed. Dorothy would prove that an animal could live fine post-Neuralink. Gertrude was the star of the show, and her Neuralink implant with 1,024 electrodes transmitted her brain activity in real time to a screen that the audience could see. They also heard beeps that Musk had explained came when Gertrude's piggly brain received stimulation from the environment, which corresponded to her sniffing through her snout. The second major demo of Neuralink involved monkeys, which was more in line with the preferred test animals for scientists. More than 70,000 of them are used for research in the US alone. This demo was even more exciting as it showed the monkey named Pager playing a game with his mind. It was a big deal to get a monkey to play a game, but Musk's team got Pager to play the game with his mind. Musk gushed in a tweet, "A monkey is literally playing a video game telepathically using a brain chip." Neuralink actually released a 3-minute video showing Pager, a 9-year-old macaque monkey, that had not 1 but 2 Neuralink devices implanted in his brain in the motor cortex, which coordinates hand and arm movement. Pager first learned how to use a joystick to move a cursor to targets on a screen. The link devices recorded his neuron activity while he interacted with the computer and then fed the data into a decoder algorithm to predict Pager's hand movements in real time. Eventually, the monkey was able to move the cursor to where he wanted without touching the joystick, the narrator explained. Musk has said the trials in monkeys show Neuralink works well. The company has confirmed it is safe and reliable. The device can be removed safely. And now, with testing on animals complete, Musk is moving to the next stage, testing Neuralink on humans.
This. So the Neuralink, which is being pushed on humanity, you might remember as well, Elon Musk talking about the Neuralink, and a lot of people automatically think, well, you're going to have brain surgery and have it just implanted in your brain. No one's going to do that. Well, of course, that's why they find other ways, because they can make chips literally invisible to the eye, which is something we all talked about recently with that outbreak and everything. And Elon's even talked about how the Neuralink could just be inserted in your veins.
Some sort of interface directly with your cortical neurons, particularly.
But doesn't that imply surgical insertion?
Not necessarily. You could go through the veins and arteries because that provides a complete roadway to all of your neurons. I mean, there are a few ways to approach this, but some sort of interface directly with your cortical neurons, particularly.
But doesn't that imply surgical insertion?
Not necessarily. You could go through the veins and arteries because that provides a complete roadway to all of your neurons.
Right? And then that, of course, connects everything with even with the 6G going on at the World Economic Forum, right? Them talking about your phone being inside your body.
Future, you will have such a good digital twin that you'll be able to go into the metaverse, into a virtual reality world, turn a dial, pull a switch, feel around, and actually change it in the real plant.
Absolutely. And this is not far off. I mean, the physical and the digital worlds, they will grow together, and the result is exactly what you just said.
I wanted to ask when you all think we're going to move from this form factor to something that's on your face, glasses, and when computing's all on the edge.
All right, 50 seconds. You want to answer quickly? I think it will go. It will. First of all, it will definitely happen. I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
So while people see Stranger Things and they look at it and they go, wow, what a great show, and it's got the retro vibe and all that stuff, they fail to realize that this is them showing you so many things that have been done. They show mind control experiments, they show witchcraft, they show CERN. There's so many, just they're referencing God and the devil so much, and demons and Dungeons and Dragons. But this is a huge thing that people need to realize. They see stuff like this, so it gets implanted in their head that it's like, oh, it's cool. Wouldn't it be cool if I could just do stuff with my mind? Nobody would be able to control it except for me. I wouldn't be giving up my free will to somebody else, and that's exactly what they would be doing. Now, this is obviously going to be marketed to people in ways like this, where they'll tell you that you could be like 11, you could be like the characters on Stranger Things, and you could be a superhero and have we could all be a superhero, right? Because we can do things and communicate with our computers and technology with our minds. We don't need to hold up the phone anymore. This is what they're pushing towards. This is everything to do with the mark of the beast and transhumanism. So they market it like this in these movies and TV shows as superheroes, and you should want to be one, even though it's gay and it's lame. That's how they market it to people, right? And then Neuralink themselves, to get people eased in, they come out and they do their experiments, and they talk about people who are paralyzed. They play on people's heartstrings like they always do. Oh, a war veteran who got paralyzed in the war, he can't walk, or some a woman with Alzheimer's. They got the Neuralink, or they're getting this the stories that you're going to see. They got the Neuralink, and they suddenly walk again. They suddenly remember their family again. These are all miracles that you'll see performed. These are also things that are referenced in the Bible with the Antichrist. So these are the ways that they're going to market it from both sides. They're going to market it where it can cure diseases. So people are like, whoa, this is really cool. This is a great technology. This is saving the world. This is helping lives. And from the other side, they're just going to desensitize people to these types of things with witchcraft and sorcery to suddenly just think that this is, this is normal stuff. Like in Stranger Things. Oh, wow. Like 11, I can call dominoes from my mind, and I don't have to pick up the phone. I mean, then people start thinking about Wi-Fi, and they'll say, hey, what's the difference, right? We have Wi-Fi, we have the internet. I could order a pizza from my laptop, so why not just order it from my brain? They don't understand that the Neuralink and this type of technology, which can be implanted via injection into your body, wink, wink, if you catch my drift, will give up free will. And when humans give up free will, they're no longer human, really. That's the gift that God has given to everyone, free will. Think about all the things that Satanists do, right? They invert scripture. They take all the commandments, they do everything in reverse. So everything that we're told, are sins, they try to do. They try to sin openly, constantly. And they push it in our faces in the television 24/7, right? We live in a world of sin. But the ultimate thing that they want to take away from humanity is the gift of free will that God gave to all, which is the right to choose, right? God's given us free will and the right to choose. That's what we're dealing with right now, is trying to get people to wake up to this and realize that they're using, even though they're under mind control, they're still willingly doing these things, giving, with their free will. But sooner than later, free will is going to be gone, because when this type of technology is implemented in humans, and they're already testing it, as we know, a mass experiment went on, these people will be giving up their free will, because this type of technology will be controlled by the enemy. People just think, wow, it's really cool, I'm connected to the internet. They won't realize that they're giving up their free will. And other people, evil, wicked people, will be able to have access to their minds and control of their minds. But they'll market it completely opposite. That's a modern day miracle. So I wanted to cover that commercial, even though I haven't covered the show yet, because that's exactly what I thought when I saw it, and these are the things that I want everybody to be aware of. This is how you can show people, hey, okay, you watch Stranger Things, you see this stuff. Look, this is technology. Everyone knows who Elon Musk is. He's the richest guy in the world, and he's been in the media nonstop recently with the Twitter nonsense. Show your friends, share with them. The Neuralink is a real thing. This is what they're really trying to do. People go, well, that's really cool. It's not cool. It's the mark. It's going to be in your body, however it's implemented into your body. Whether it's injection, people are going to take this, and people are going to give up their free will. A reminder, check out the website at callforuprising.com. It's $2.99 a month. See right over there. I want to thank all of you for being here on YouTube. I want to thank the Patrons especially for being here. I appreciate you guys for keeping me here on YouTube. So if you're not a Patreon and you enjoy this content and you want to see me stay here on YouTube, please consider becoming one. If not, perfectly all right as well. I appreciate the support, everybody. Hope you're doing well. God bless you and your families.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. If this isn't a giant ritual, then, well, I don't know what one is. Stonehenge, whether you believe Stonehenge is real, or you don't believe it's real, or whatever your theory is on why it's there, we all know that it's used for satanic rituals. We all know that there's burial ground there, that bodies have been discovered because people have been sacrificed there forever. But of course, in the media, they always just tell you that it's a bunch of pagan people showing up, running around in circles, enjoying the wilderness and trees, even though there's none there. Because, that's the belief, right? Pagans are just, hey, they're pagan, and they enjoy nature and all that stuff. Stop pretending like they do human sacrifice and rituals. Oh, okay, sure. And I was born 5 minutes ago. That's what they want everyone to believe, and most people do, because they were born 5 minutes ago, because their brains are just piles of mush at this point. But get a load of this, what's going on for the Queen. That's right, you might have forgot about the Queen amongst all the chaos going on in the world. One of the people behind most of the cast has been pretty quiet, probably because, well, she's in her casket, sleeping most of the day, if she's even alive at this point. But it seems like this could be a potential ritual for the Queen to make her exit, because the Queen is being displayed all over Stonehenge, as you see on the screen, in what is one of the most bizarre things you will ever see them openly do. Because, if you can't spot a ritual like this, and you think that this is just some commemorative thing because it's her Jubilee, which is her 70th year on the throne, as she's at age 743 at this point. It feels like it's her 2000th year on the throne, but they're celebrating the Queen, and there's this big ceremony going on all around the world.
More on this week's historic celebrations and what to expect. Let's welcome in Daisy McAndrew, royal commentator for NBC News. Hi, Daisy. Good morning. Hello, Savannah and Oda, and I loved Kia's guests there, were they brilliant? I know, central casting. This is it. The Jubilee is finally here. I guess the big question is, how is the Queen feeling, and how much do you expect we'll see of her this week?
Well, we know, as Keir was setting out in that excellent piece, that there are various moments throughout the next 4 days, from Thursday to Sunday, that we will be expecting to see the Queen. But again, Buckingham Palace, very tight-lipped, saying we will only get confirmation of what she'll go to on the day. But I think we can make some pretty good guesses. I think she will definitely be on the balcony for the fly past after Trooping the Colour. I suspect she won't make it down to the military parade, where I think that Charles, William and Anne will inspect the armed forces, as she would have traditionally have done. In fact, she used to do on horseback. They will do it on horseback. But I think we will see her on the balcony. I'm not sure she's going to make it to the races on Saturday. There are quite a lot of rumours saying she might conserve her energy and not do that. Friday, I think she will be at St Paul's for the big Thanksgiving service, where we'll expect to see Harry and Meghan as well. And Sunday, possibly, we might see her out on the balcony again for a second big balcony photo opportunity. But I did get some intel that last week she was having lunch with somebody who I know, who said she was really on incredibly good form. She was walking with the aid of a stick, but really seemed to be in very fine fettle. So maybe she'll surprise us and appear more.
And one of the big ceremonies is this, that her pictures are going to be displayed all over Stonehenge. Don't worry about the fact that Stonehenge is this massive pagan place, supposedly pagan place, satanic place, where all of these wicked people, and of course there's people who cluelessly go and they think it's just some big party. That's the same thing with a lot of things in life. But overall, that's what this is, and that's what this is to the elites.
The stones align precisely with the position of the sun at the solstices. This alignment may have played a part in ancient ceremonies, where the recently dead were thought to make the transition to ancestors. Supported by the discovery of carvings on a number of the Sarsens, proposes that the structure was used as a symbolic burial place, possibly for a mythical king or god.
Where they all go on the solstices, like the winter solstice, the summer solstice, the equinoxes, Halloween, Beltane, and they get together and they take photos and they pretend like, you know, it's a great time and everyone's really having fun. And I always get comments when I cover those festive holidays here on YouTube, because people get really offended by it. They say it's all crazy because, well, the rituals aren't done on camera. When the actual ritual's there, well, nobody's around. Okay, so when they take their photographs for the solstice and things like that, well, it's all stage stuff that they do deliberately to show people, hey, it's all a good time, so don't worry about it. Don't think that there's satanic rituals here. Don't question why Stonehenge is here. Don't question why we're putting the Queen's face all over it. So in the lead up to Queen Elizabeth's Jubilee celebrations, marking 70 years of her reign, there has been no shortage of the 96-year-old British monarch. Oh, I thought she was 700. Okay, 96. I was about 700 years off, but I mean, she sure could pass looks-wise for someone in their 700s. So the 96-year-old British monarch, now she is being displayed on Stonehenge, and her image has been adorned with her likeness, thanks to English Heritage, a charity that manages historic sites around the country. On Monday, the organization posted on Twitter that it had bought 2 British icons together by projecting portraits of Elizabeth onto the 5,000-year-old attraction, one image from each decade of her reign. I mean, if this doesn't seem like a ritual to send her off, because remember, they used to use, Stonehenge for these rituals for the recently dead, the kings, the queens, the false gods, as they make their transitions into ancestors. Well, what could we look at this and think it could possibly mean? Well, to me, this possibly means that they're going to tell us really soon that the Queen's no longer with us, right? And they'll do another big ceremony honoring her. I could see it happening this year. She's probably already gone, probably already in the metaverse somewhere, wherever these people are putting their consciousnesses, because they're, of course, they already have the technology in place where they can be immortal and live forever, stung by locusts for the rest of eternity like scorpions. So how could you not look at this and think that it's potentially a ritual for the passing of the queen instead of commemorating the queen. So they'll do this massive ritual around the world where everybody's going to watch all these things on, even in America, they're putting all this stuff on TV of the queen and honoring the queen's legacy. So people are all gushing, oh, the queen, right? Then they're showing you the Stonehenge and the other rituals they're doing all around England and all around the UK and wherever else around the world, let's pretty much say. And then eventually, of course, like most of the time they do, then they'll send them off and they're passing. And people will be a part of this massive ritual because it's put on this box that everybody sits in front of and gets indoctrinated by. So the temporary installation meant to be a spellbinding homage to the queen. I mean, really? Spellbinding? Nah, there's no witchcraft here. They're talking about spelling bees, apparently. Unbelievable. Has divided opinion on social media. Some call the tribute beautiful, while others poked fun. They made Stonehenge look like a collection of commemorative pound shop lighters, one user wrote, while another called it completely unhinged. There are also posts questioning why the site is being used in such a way when some consider it sacred and holding religious significance. Well, if those people who are asking those questions use their brain, they'll realize that the same way that the Stonehenge has always been used, these kings and queens and self-elected dictators, like most of these people in most of these countries, worship the false gods and believe they are false gods indeed. So this massive ritual that's being done, while people are saying, I don't understand why they're doing it. They're sacred. Well, think about it. Think about why they'd be doing this spellbinding homage. I mean, the signs of the times are all around us. When they're doing this stuff openly, people are so desensitized to it, they see this. It's like, yeah, it's normal. We'll put the queen up on Stonehenge. Isn't Stonehenge where all the pagans go? They do rituals and stuff. Yeah. So the ring of standing stones, some up to 30 feet tall, is an early and mysterious marvel of human effort and engineering. With its construction methods and her studied and debated, Stonehenge has all. Well, that's the thing. I mean, a lot of people debate why it's there, how it got there. Some believe the Nephilim, some believe. I've heard almost there. Atlantis ties into it. I mean, there's so many things that I've heard, and obviously, you could just do your own research and then you can just decide for yourself, right? But one thing is for sure that we know what it's used for. It ain't used for anything other than satanic rituals, and it doesn't mean that it has to be blood sacrifice every time. Okay, they go there and they worship the sun and they do all these things, and the sun shines over at a certain time on the solstices in the specific spot it needs to be, and then they act like it's not some type of ritual and it's just a bunch of people who want to go all the way up there and stare at the sun for a while. Sure, okay, and again, that's for people who were born yesterday. So Stonehenge has also been regarded as a site of pagan ceremony, and today continues to draw thousands for the summer and winter solstices, when the central axis of the megaliths align with sunrise and sunset, respectively. A recent study concluded, however, this particular feature is part of its function, suggesting Stonehenge was actually designed to be an enormous solar calendar. Now, sure, if that's what they want to call it. So this is the queen, and to me, I think that this means that the queen's they're probably going to announce her death. Some people believe that she's already been gone for quite some time. I mean, I don't know. I can't really prove where she is or isn't, so what am I going to say, However, these types of rituals usually associated with these people usually mean that something is coming. Well, everyone pays homage to her this year, so it could be later in the year, who knows? But she could already be gone and already have made her, quote unquote, transfer to, the next dimension or whatever these freaks believe. But to us, we know that transfers right to hell. So have a good time, Queen. So this is what's going on in the world, ladies and gentlemen. Stonehenge being used, things that people 50 years ago knew were satanic, which exposed these things. Now we're putting kings and queens and presidents and all these things. They're just openly showing you it, acting like it's no big deal because they want you to think that God and the devil don't exist, that Satanists aren't here, that they don't do rituals, yet all they do is reference God and the devil and everything. And I show you that on this channel. Every music video for the most part, every movie for the most part, it's always what it's about. And everything is inverted in this world. Reminder, check out the website at callforuprising.com. It's 299 monthly zero over there. Thank everyone again for your support. I appreciate you all greatly. God bless you and your family.
you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was. You've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. This video originally was going to be exclusive to the website, callforanuprising.com, but I'm going to put it on both. I'm going to risk getting a strike over it because it's the type of stuff you need to see. This is the type of stuff on the website, but this is something that everybody needs to see. And this is, they run tests, they run drills, and then these things just miraculously occur, and they shrug their shoulders and they go, wow, we were preparing for it, but how come you don't have an answer for what you were preparing for? You were just preparing for it, aka planning it. Now, Event 201 occurred, and everybody figured it out, called it out, and then they had to come out and start censoring people online. That was a massive, massive thing at the beginning of the outbreak. September in 2001, on the date of the 11th, a drill was being run. Remember that? Boston, a drill was being run. A lot of these events that occur in schools, drills are being run. Coincidentally, on the same date or within the same week before these things actually occur. This is the type of stuff you can share with your friends and try to show them, oh, is that a coincidence? And I'm telling you these other events so that you can look them up yourself. And you can show them this and they can say, wow, they really do plan this stuff out. And that is why they censor all of us. Because we show that they do this stuff. Event 201 was the last one. Here we have this. Get a load of this from the Nuclear Threat Initiative. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around and watch. The Nuclear Threat Initiative, conveniently in March 2021, and then this video which came out in November, talking about running a drill, and I mean, you're not going to believe what it's about. Take a listen to this clip in its entirety.
We are launching a new report. We are excited to share it with you. The new report is called Strengthening Global Systems to Prevent and Respond to High Consequence Biological Threats, and it summarizes key findings from a tabletop exercise that was jointly convened by the Nuclear Threat Initiative, NTI, and the Munich Security Conference back in March 2021. I do have to begin by noting the irony of sorts. In our undertaking tabletop exercise, a simulated biological crisis involving an infectious disease agent, even as a true global pandemic was unfolding all around us. I think we all recognize how over the past almost 2 years now, the world has faced the devastating impact that a biological event can have on human health, economies, and political stability. So I'm very pleased to be able to kick off this session first by sharing a brief video excerpt from this exercise, which provides a short preview of the fictional scenario that we discussed. Thank you.
There are growing questions today around a new and deadly outbreak. Scientists determined that this monkeypox virus was engineered. With limited antiviral drugs and no known effective treatments, countries around the world are struggling to control another pandemic with already devastating effects.
So
witnessing far fewer cases in countries where governments took early and decisive action.
And some international experts are urging the WHO to adopt a phased approach to warnings.
I mean, wow! What are the odds of that? Because if you haven't heard, there's something going on right now around the world.
Health officials are reporting the first potential cases of human-to-human transmission of monkeypox in America. 4 new cases were detected over the weekend, including 2 in California and 1 each in Colorado and New York. So far, 14 cases have been found in 8 states, with most of the infections among gay and bisexual men. However, the World Health Organization says anyone can get or pass on monkeypox, regardless of their sexuality. The WHO's top expert on monkeypox says she does not think it will become a pandemic, but says there are still many unknowns regarding the disease.
Boy, coincidences, right? Just life is filled with so many of them, at least for the naive hive mind. But for the rest of us, we're well aware of what they do. Now, you might say, I've never heard of the Nuclear Threat Initiative. Well, all one has to do is look into who they are, and one can even see that they're linked and connected to the World Economic Forum. That must be a coincidence, too. You know, the same people that we're all exposing over and over again. I mean, anybody who talks any truth has been exposing these people. You have 2020, that the NTI and the World Economic Forum releasing a report. What was the report on? DNA synthesis technologies. Wow, in 2020, you don't say. January 2020. Crazy, right? And then May 23rd, this past week, at the World Economic Forum conference in Davos, NTI and World Economic Forum convened 3rd annual meeting of DNA synthesis screening technical consortium. Oh, man. You got to love those coincidences, right? There's nothing funny about this. I'm laughing at how stupid people are that they can't see what these people are doing. Are these the same people that go through life getting stomped on, walking around and just on cruise control? This isn't about politics and political parties. Those have been in place to put barriers up between you and your brain. Like picking a sports team. Oh, on this team, I side with them, and whatever they say, I'll do. Instead of critically thinking and saying, whoa, look at all this evidence. They run drills in advance. They conveniently tell us over a year in advance about a monkey outbreak, just like they conveniently told us in advance about a C.19er outbreak, and then all these other active drills we always see. It's almost like they plan to do this stuff. Oh, right. They do. So then people go, well, what would they want to do? Why would they want a bioweapon? Well, were bioweapons a thing in the past? Of course not. Did anyone remember reading in the 1500s how there were bioweapons? There was a lot of wars being fought back in those days, right? All the history books, it's like the war here, the war there, civil war, right? Wars, chaos. Look around you now, right? You don't see actual wars going on in America, like literally with guns and civil war, and people are walking around with swords. What you see are things being created on the television set that they're telling you are happening, so that they can incite this type of stuff. But back then you didn't hear that. So why would it change from then to now? Oh, because what they do is they create biological ones. They create psychological ones, more importantly, because everything's going on in the mind of people, inside their hive mind. They're being controlled, and it's filtering down, telling them what to think, knowing how they're going to react to this or that. That's why they do everything they do. That's why everybody feels overwhelmed. They're like, does a day go by when one of these events don't occur? No, it doesn't. Why? Because they planned them that way. Because by overwhelming you, it's going to cause you to submit. Because the mind can't take so much stuff. Even mine can't. It's overwhelming. It's draining. What do you think they do when they torture people in war? They drain them to the point of submission, where they give information up that they want, right? We've all seen it in a movie, the torturing them. Oh, we're going to find out what they're going to tell us, what we want to know. We're going to torture them for days and days. We're going to put them in here until they finally cave. Well, this isn't about you telling them information. This is about you caving to them. They're torturing the mind psychologically. different stories every day that are wearing people out. More restraints, civil rights being taken away, but really they're being given away. Our rights are being given away by us to them, the ones who are doing this to us, by telling us that this is happening and that's happening. When they create these simulations, just like this, they do it over and over and over again. These people hate us.